Well, the fires have also had a huge impact on the farming community just outside PE. One of the affected areas is the small-scale farming community in Rocklands. Here, farmers have lost livestock while other animals have been so badly injured by the fires that they've had to be rescued by the SPCA. Another concern for farmers in this area is that with little rain forecast, grazing is bound to be a problem. Let's cross now to our reporter, Lerato Tipa. She's in Rocklands. Lerato, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, Natasha. Well, the fires that started in Knysna that went to Plet eventually found their way to Port Elizabeth, and as you heard earlier on in our package, that 2 people did pass away. But I guess the story that hasn't been told as yet is a story of the farmers who have lost their livestock and their grazing has been affected as well. We're in an area on the outskirts of Port Elizabeth called Rocklands, where over 20 farmers have literally lost their farms and 3 houses have completely burnt down. I just want to pan a bit with my cameraman Kobani so that you can see that at this farm that we are now at, it is a farm belonging to a man called Kevin, and the area that you see now was actually completely grass. It was an area where he used to graze his pigs, and as you see right now, what was grass has now become ashes. We tried to talk to him earlier on, but he's obviously very much distraught and not home at the moment. But besides the firefighters, Natasha, there have been other heroes as well. The people from SPCA, who can imagine were during their line of duty asked to come here and to save as many animals as well. So that's the story we are telling today, the story of the animals, the people that don't have a voice but were also affected by these fires. Joining me this afternoon is Deirdre Swift, who is the chairperson of the National SPCA in Utenhage. Tell us more about how bad these fires were and how they were quick and to respond and to save these animals. Deirdre, just take us briefly exactly when the fire started, what call you got, and then when you got to farms, what kind of catastrophe did you guys see there?
We received this call early on Saturday morning. The gentleman was obviously very distraught. We came out here and we had to assist with the evacuation of domestic and livestock. When we actually got into the area, the whole area was ablaze. And we obviously managed to get onto the property. We evacuated 10 dogs, birds, cats. We managed to evacuate the sheep, but unfortunately, due to time constraints, the firefighters were urging us to get out of the area due to the blaze and the smoke. We had to leave the pigs behind. They were also large, and we didn't have any means of actually transporting them out of the area. We did get out in time, and we returned the next morning just to check on the pigs. Unfortunately, they had managed to survive the blaze. They were contained on the area that actually didn't burn.
Now, this is also quite a high grazing area. How bad has been the effect on wildlife and livestock as well in this area after the fires?
We haven't been able to take account of wildlife because it's been very, very difficult with it being, the fires have only just abated yesterday, so it's been very difficult to get in areas where livestock actually roam. That tally will only be able to be accounted for at a later date.
And the animals, how bad were they? I know that we speak early on said that the pigs in this specific area were burnt, their calves. How bad were other animals as you went around the farms trying to save these animals?
We have had cattle and calves with burnt feet. Unfortunately, we have had to euthanize some of them. We currently have animals, young piglets at the SPCA who we managed to save, who are being treated for burn wounds also on their feet. We've had cats that have been burnt. We have had to euthanize a fair amount of animals, but many of the rescues have come in time. People have called us timeously, and we've been able to save a lot of lives. And
what's your appeal to people still on the farm who maybe have got injured animals? Would you appeal for them to take them to SPCA?
Very definitely. We appeal to everybody, not only farmers. We appeal to all members of the public. If they're aware of any animals that are carrying injuries or have been injured, to make contact with us as soon as possible so that we can assist. We do have vets on call that are willing to assist us. So if there's anybody out there that needs help, please let us know and we can assist you.
Well, that was Deirdre Swift, the national chairperson of SPCA in Utenhage, just making an appeal to everyone in the surrounding area and also in Port Elizabeth with animals that have been injured during this fire to rather take them to a place of safety, such as the National SPCA. It's back to you in studio, Natasha.
Lerato, thanks so much. Lerato Tipa live there from Rocklands, which is a small farming community just outside PE. Well, staying in that area, plans are already in place to rebuild Woodridge School on the outskirts of Port Elizabeth. Nearly 70% of the school infrastructure was razed by the fire that ripped through the Van Staden's Gorge over the weekend. The setback will give pupils a slightly longer holiday, but the 4th of July has been set down as the date to recommence schooling. The learners and employees of the school were evacuated early on Saturday as a precaution, and at first the fire was kept at bay, but later 100-kilometer-per-hour winds fanned the flames and embers, igniting some of the buildings. Temporary structures will now be put up to ensure schooling will commence by the 4th of July. And the school will also recommence all other activities, including sport, by the same date to ensure the disruption is as brief as possible. Staff and teachers who live on the premises will also be accommodated. The displaced have spent the past 2 nights at a school in PE. Meanwhile, damping down is continuing in the Van Staden's Gorge while fires in Rocklands have been extinguished. The Skoonmakerskorp and Els River fires flared up earlier today, but they are apparently under control.